Ali finally gets killed after she hangs him, and then she opens the door like on the ground floor, and then he's not dead. He pulls up. The mask kind of comes off a little bit. She sees his face. She realizes it's him, the one, the when Jason attacked her in the flashback. And God damn it, lost my train of thought. Hold on. So yeah, after that, Ali comes out, gets fucked up, and killed this time, I guess. And then she grabs an axe, swings it into his head, kind of like halfway in the mask and halfway in his head, so it's like a little dent in his head. And he like comes out at her like this, grabbing at the screen. I'm sure in 3D it was like you'd have been like at the edge of your seat, sitting back like this. And in 2D, it worked the same way. I was still scared first time I saw it. So then the ending ends with another dream sequence where she's in a boat in a murky lake, and she sees Jason in the window. He's still in the barn. He's got his mask off and the axe out of his head. It's just a bloody wound. And he comes out running after her, then disappears, and then Mrs. Voorhees comes up out of the lake and grabs her off the boat into the water. And I like how when she woke up, she was kind of like, she was still screaming, she was still hysterical, but kind of like just loopy about it, and she like started laughing a little bit, or, well, they got her in the car, and then she was still like, ah! And then they like shook her, and she was like, ah! And she started laughing, just like, oh, you'd have to see it to know what I mean, but I thought it was a pretty good ending. And then it just goes to like, ends on a shot with Jason laying there with the axe in his head, so obviously that was a dream sequence. It was still scary like the first two. The stalk sequences, they were pretty good. Leading up to the kills, I jumped a lot. Sometimes even to this day I still jump at certain parts. Still a great score by Harry Manfredini. I like the disco track, sort of like electro disco techno track at the beginning, with the title sequence credits coming out like that. And at first I thought they were just ripping off Superman with the credits coming at you like that, because it's red, the blue background and all that. But overall, and now we got Friday the 13th, Part 4, the final chapter. Of course, we all know it's not the final chapter or anything in the Friday the 13th franchise. It says the final anything is not true, obviously, since there was Part 9, the final Friday, and then there was Jason X now, and then Freddy vs. Jason now, the remake, so whatever. I guess they thought it was going to be the last one at the time. This one's directed by Joseph Zito in 1984. It's got Corey Haim. Corey Feldman as a little kid. Who else? See, I don't remember the other actors. I know I keep saying that, but yeah, the characters, they were kind of forgettable in this one, I thought. I mean, except Crispin Glover and his friend Ted, who calls him a dead fuck. Those are the only two funny, entertaining characters in the movie. The rest, like, I was just waiting for him to die, because the movie kind of dragged on, and like throughout the middle a little bit. Let me see. All right, let me just give you the brief synopsis here. It takes place a day after. It picks up right where Part 3 left off. The day after Part 3, so it's what, Sunday the 15th. But yeah, Jason's laying there in the barn with the axe in his head, or without the axe. I don't know. The paramedics are picking him up. They think he's dead, but I guess he's just unconscious. You know, just a little dent in the head, no big deal. And then they take him to the morgue. He breaks out of the morgue, kills the coroner, kills a nurse, and then finds his way back to Crystal Lake, or Crystal Point. That same area, that same town, but probably nowhere near Camp Crystal Lake. But that's when we're introduced to all the other characters, you know, including Crispin Glover and Ted. Like I said, they were all forgettable. I don't really know what to say about them. Then there's Tommy Jarvis, played by Corey Feldman, and he's a geek who wears glasses, plays video games on his computer, and makes masks. Nothing wrong with that, by the way. I'm just saying he's a typical geek. Yeah, he makes these masks that are like, they look like movie props, so, you know, monsters that you see in monster movies. You know, Tom Savini type shit. So, yeah, that's basically it. He's just there, like I said. So, I don't know, I was waiting for most of the characters to die. But, you know, the payoff was good. The deaths were good. Well, first you got the coroner's death with the saw through his neck, and then he snaps his neck. I forget what kind of saw that's called, but it's a saw nonetheless. And then there's the corkscrew death, Crispin Glover's death. You know, corkscrew goes in his hand, and then meat cleaver in his face. That was always my favorite death. And then Ted watching the old porno, like from the 20s or 30s or something, gets stabbed through the projector screen from behind. That always caught me off guard. You know, all the kills are pretty good. The jumps are pretty good. I mean, they made me jump, and you know, the payoff, like the boring character, with all the boring characters, and you know, the story just dragging throughout the middle. The payoff was good. The kills were good, and well, there was this one part with the dog that kind of jumps out of the window, like someone's calling to him upstairs, and I don't know if he jumps out the window or gets thrown out of the window. Either way, a dog busting out of the window, like, I don't know, that just, you know, struck me as odd. But other than that, it's okay, I guess. I mean, Ted White did okay as Jason. He was good enough, I guess. Well, okay. To his credit, I liked how fast he moved. You know, Jason ran after people this time, and he seemed a little bit stronger, a little more pissed off. But I just didn't like his makeup. He looked like a dried up gargoyle with like skin that looked like a dried up, you know, raisin or peanut shell or something. I don't know. He looked like wood. I don't know if like that's because he was halfway zombie at that point, or I don't know. But I didn't like the makeup job. But I did like the ending. I think that was the only moment Corey Feldman really shined in this movie for me. He was like, die! 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 And I mean, that was, you know, pretty memorable scene right there. And then it kind of, even though it's the final chapter, it ends with a look towards the camera, like either Corey Feldman's going to be the next Jason, or maybe Jason's still not dead, I don't know, but it's left open for a sequel.